Hey everyone, welcome back to Stay Tuned Reviews, a place where you can kick back, relax, and hear my honest thoughts on TV shows, movies, and other things. I'll be dropping a ton of new content over the next few weeks, so feel free to subscribe to my channel so you'll get the notifications for my reviews. Over the past 50 years, a number of movies have been considered iconic within the realm of black cinema. I think it's safe to say that Sparkle easily makes the list of must-see films. Many years ago, I had the opportunity to see the movie Sparkle for the first time, and when I saw it, I immediately became a fan. If for some reason you haven't seen the movie Sparkle yet, I'll be happy to give you a synopsis. Sparkle is a story about the rise and fall of the music group Sister and the Sisters. This group is comprised of three siblings. Sister is the oldest sibling and also the most daring. Dolores is the middle child and is also considered the revolutionary of the group. And Sparkle is the youngest of the siblings, yet she's the most talented and most timid of the three. As challenges face their group, the sisters eventually go their separate ways, and the talented Sparkle pursued her solo career. When Sparkle was initially released in theaters, it developed a cult following because there weren't too many movies like it out there back then. The movie Sparkle, along with the help of Curtis Mayfield, are responsible for introducing the world to songs that are still being sung to this day. Several characters from the movie have uttered one-liners that fans enjoy reciting whenever they watch the movie. And Sparkle was also a vehicle that gave many of the main actors bigger and better opportunities in Hollywood. But an undeniable fact is this: as iconic as the movie Sparkle was, it wasn't too iconic to be remade. In 2012, the Sparkle remake starring Jordan Sparks came to theaters, yet it was met with mixed reviews. Prior to seeing the remake, I was one of those people who had some hesitancy about seeing it. After all, anyone who knows me can tell you that I'm not too fond of movies being remade simply for studios to make a quick buck or because studios ran out of ideas for new movies. But after seeing the Sparkle remake, I came out of the experience not only enjoying the movie for what it was, but believing that the remake was far superior to the original. Over the years, I've been sharing my thoughts on the Sparkle remake to people who are die-hard fans of the original, and I've been met with laughter as well as dismissal. So I'm here to share my unpopular opinion with you all. In this video, I will lay out my case for why I firmly believe that the Sparkle remake is the best theatrical version of Sparkle. Now I know that I might sound a little crazy to the hardcore fans of the original movie, but the longer I keep talking, the more you'll begin to see the light. Like Denzel said in the movie Remember the Titans, it's like Novocaine. Give it time and it'll work. So please trust the process. I will begin this process by going over three distinct criteria. 1. Which movie was better suited to tell the story of Sparkle? 2. Which movie passed the eye test? And 3. A character versus character battle to see which movie did the character justice. Without further delay, here's why the Sparkle remake is the best version of Sparkle. There are a number of general differences between the original Sparkle and the remake. In the original, the setting of the story takes place in Harlem in the late 1950s. The movie's runtime is an hour and 38 minutes, and the production budget for the movie is only $1 million. Sparkle and her family members also went by the last name Williams. In the remake, the setting of the movie takes place in Detroit in 1968. The runtime for the movie is an hour and 56 minutes, and the production budget was $14 million. In the remake, Sparkle and her family members went by the last name Anderson. Let me start off by saying that while the original did what it could given the budget and the time constraints, the Sparkle remake was given a significant boost in production budget and extra time to tell a proper story. And if Sparkle is truly based on the early life of Diana Ross, then making the 1960s Detroit the setting of the movie is better for storytelling purposes. But of course, having a bigger budget, a longer movie runtime, and a more realistic story to tell isn't quite enough to crown the Sparkle remake as the better of the two movies. So I'll be moving on to the next criteria. As much as I appreciated the original Sparkle, I must say that the main complaint that I had for the movie was that there were some parts that were hard to watch. The majority of the movie suffers from poor lighting, sound editing, basic choreography, and subpar overall cinematography. In the remake, all of these issues are not only fixed but drastically improved on. The cinematography in the remake made the original movie look like it was filmed by a fifth grader. The lighting throughout the movie was impeccable, the costume design and dance sequences in the movie were also amazing. I consider Dolores, the forgotten sister, because her contribution to the plot is mostly forgotten until it comes to her efforts to stop Satin Struthers from harming Sister. In the original movie, Dolores has very little respect for her mother, and she isn't shy when it comes to telling her mother how she feels. Dolores also sleeps with one of Satin's flunkies in an effort to get information that will get Satin arrested. That plan fails horribly. In the remake, Dolores shows nothing but respect for her mother while giving everyone else a piece of her mind. She ultimately kills Satin in an effort to protect her sisters. While both actors did a great job of portraying Dolores, I think the remake made Dolores more believable and likable. In the original Sparkle, Levi was a small-time hustler looking for big money. But we really didn't know how much he loved her until towards the end of the movie. When Levi found out that Sister had hooked up with Satin, Satin punked him and dared him to say something about it. Now, I don't know about you, but if I were Levi in that situation, Satin would have had to catch these hands. Levi also getting arrested and spending half the movie behind bars was a tragic end to his story. In the remake, Levi is painted as a more sympathetic character. He is head over heels in love with Sister, and it shows it from the start of the movie. When Satin made his move with Sister, Levi was ready to fight to prove his love. And when Levi knew that chasing Sister was a lost cause, he upgraded and was shown having the last laugh. The remake gave Levi's story a much better send-off. Right off the bat, there's a huge difference when it comes to Satin's background story in the original and remake movies. In the original, Satin was a big-time hustler that had a dominating presence. He was also someone that Levi idolized and worked for without hesitation. In the remake, Satin was a big-time comedian who had the picture-perfect image in front of his mainstream audience, but was a terror behind closed doors. In my opinion, not only did the remake portray Satin Struthers as the better villain, but Mike Epps made the character as vile as he could, which also made for great storytelling. There's also a huge difference between the mother's backstory in the original versus the remake. In the original movie, the mother is a maid for a well-to-do Caucasian family, and she tries to instill values to her daughters that complement what she has learned throughout her life. This is a nice backstory, but in the remake, the mother is a former musician and alcoholic who got saved and tried to raise Dolores and Sparkle up in a strict, overbearing environment. I think the remake does a better job at showcasing the mother's story because the mother served as a cautionary tale for what could happen to anybody who chases fame for the wrong reasons. I also believe that the mother's story was more relatable to many people in the black community. I'll be the first to admit that the remake of Sparkle completely fumbled the character of Styx. In the original, while Styx's attraction to a 15-year-old Sparkle and taking her to hotel rooms was pretty questionable, he was a very important part to the storyline. He helped the group's music, he helped manage the group, and he was instrumental in getting Sparkle's solo career up and running. In the remake, while Styx was the manager of the group, his chemistry with Sparkle appeared to be a little off and forced at times. He also came off as wanting to use Sparkle and her sisters more than wanting to be with Sparkle. This part of the character versus character portion is hard for me because both the original and the remake did a great job of telling the story of Sister. For the most part, both movies give similar portrayals of the character. Sister is the oldest of the siblings, and she has a desire to make it big at all costs. Sister falls for Satin, who's abusive towards her. Sister resorts to using drugs, and her substance abuse ultimately leads to the downfall of the group. The main difference between Sister in the original and the remake is that in the original, Sister dies from her drug use, and in the remake, Sister goes to prison in an effort to take the rap for Dolores killing Satin. To be honest, I'm fine with both interpretations of the character, especially during their performances. I would have to say that both characters were done justice. One of the major differences between the original and the remake for Sparkle's character is Sparkle's age. In the original movie, Sparkle is a 15-year-old, and in the remake, Sparkle is a 19-year-old. Another difference is what Sparkle brought to the story. In the original, Sparkle was just a talented singer who needed someone to believe in her talent to help her make it big. In the remake, Sparkle is an amazing singer and songwriter. The group owes their success to her for writing all of their songs. When Sparkle finally finds her own voice, she takes control of her own destiny and uses Styx in the same way that he used her and her sisters to make it big. To me, the remake gives Sparkle a bigger purpose for the overall story. Nobody can take away from the greatness that is the original Sparkle movie, but anybody that watches both movies from an objective point of view would have to concede that the Sparkle remake is the far superior movie of the two. Allow me to close this video by using this analogy. In my opinion, comparing the original and the remake of Sparkle is like comparing Waffle House and IHOP. The original Sparkle is a lot like Waffle House. It's dated, somewhat cheap, but it's simple and it's made people happy for many years. The Sparkle remake is a lot like IHOP. It might not be everybody's cup of tea, but it's more visually appealing and it gives fans more of a variety. Ladies and gentlemen, it's time to walk into the light and acknowledge that we all could use a little bit more IHOP in our lives. Thanks again for watching this review. If you enjoyed the video, please feel free to leave a like or comment below, and I promise to keep the content coming. Until next time, stay safe and stay tuned.